Hello, friends. Let us continue with Act 5. And we were seeing the unfolding of the Ring episode where Portia accuses Bassanio of giving the ring to a lady. Bassanio tries to defend himself, and Portia says that she is sure that this ring has been given to a lady. We start with somewhere around line number 245, where Portia welcomes Antonio, saying, "Sir, grieve not you are welcome, notwithstanding, in spite of all these, you are welcome." And Bassanio proceeds to swear by Portia's eyes that he would never make such a mistake again. So let's follow Bassanio and Portia and the remaining part of the play from here. Bassanio says, "Portia, forgive me this enforced wrong, this mistake. And in the hearing of these many friends, I swear to thee, even by thine own fair eyes, wherein I see myself." So look at this. Again, look at the sharp wit of Portia. Look at her answer. She says, "Mark you but that, in both my eyes, he doubly sees himself." In both my eyes, Bassanio says, "I swear by thine eye where I see myself." So according to Portia, in both her eyes, he sees himself doubly. So in each eye, he sees his own reflection, one in the left eye, one in the right eye. And therefore, Portia says, in both my eyes, he doubly sees himself. He sees two reflections of his, and therefore he swears by his double self. When we say that someone swears by his double self, the phrase double self refers to double standard, where someone says something but does something else. So Portia reminds him he's swearing by his double self because he sees himself doubly in both her eyes. And she says, that is supposed, and there's an oath of credit, and that is supposed to be an oath of credit. It's an irony. She means that such an oath cannot be trusted. And Bassanio says, "Nay, hear me, pardon this fault, and by my soul I swear I will never more break an oath with thee." So here Antonio is feeling awkward, and he comes forward to help his own friend Bassanio. And he says, "I once did lend my body for his wealth, which but for him that had your husband's ring, but for him, but for the person, but for the lawyer who now has your husband's ring, would have miscarried, had been lost." He swears, "I dare be bound again," and this time it is not it is not out of his body, but out of his soul that he keeps upon 4 feet. He says, "I dare be bound again, I dare be shorn again, I dare be bound again, my soul upon the 4 feet, that your Lord will never more break faith advisedly, that your husband will never more break an oath in future." And Portia says, "Then you will be his surety. Give him this and bid him keep it better than the other." Antonio says, "Here, Lord Bassanio, swear to keep this ring." And Bassanio says, "By heaven, it is the same I gave the doctor." And Portia says, "I had it of him. Pardon me, Bassanio." And Nerissa says, "And pardon me, good gentle Bassanio, for that same scrubbed boy, the doctor's clerk, did give me this." And Portia says, "You are all amazed. Here is a letter. Read it at your leisure." Please be careful about what information does this letter convey. It comes from Padua, from Bellerio. There you shall find that Portia was the doctor, Nerissa there her clerk. Lorenzo here shall witness, "I set forth as soon as you, so I went out as soon as you, and even now, just now, returned. I have not yet entered my house. Antonio, you are welcome, and I have better news in store for you than you expect. Unseal this letter soon, and there you shall find three of your argosies. So three of your ships are richly come to the harbor suddenly, all of a sudden. You shall not know by what strange accident I chanced on this letter. So she denies to give the information from where she got that letter. So we are kept in the dark about how she received this piece of information, this piece of letter, that Antonio's ships, three of his ships, have arrived at the harbor suddenly. And Antonio says, I'm dumb. And Bassanio says, were you the doctor and I know you not? And Recenio says, were you the clerk? Antonio says, sweet lady, you have given me life and living. Life. You have saved my life and living. Now you are giving me back my profession, my wealth. For here I read for certain that my ships are safely come to the harbor. And Portia says, how now, Lorenzo, my clerk, hath some good comfort too for you. And Nerissa says, and I shall give them him without a fee. There do I give you and Jessica from the rich Jew a special deed of gift after his death of all he dies possessed of. So whatever the Jew possesses will be passed on to Lorenzo and Jessica after the Jew's death. And Lorenzo says, fair ladies, you drop manna, heavenly food in the way of starved people. And Portia says, it is almost morning and yet I am sure you are not satisfied of all the events at full. Let us go in and charge us there upon interrogatories, upon questions. So question us there and we will answer all things faithfully, truthfully. And Recenio says, let it be so. While I live, I fear no other thing. So as long as I live, I fear no other thing. So long as I keep safe Nerissa's ring. So at last we come to the most pertinent question, the most relevant question. Who is the merchant in the Merchant of Venice? If you look into the play carefully, you will see there are two merchants. One is Antonio, the other is Shylock. Both, their kind of work is the same. Antonio gives out money gratis, whereas Shylock gives out money at high rates of interest. We have also seen that there are religious intolerances between the two. So who is the merchant? Who is the merchant in the Merchant of Venice that Shakespeare intends to portray? I feel the merchant is Antonio. It is very, very hard to believe that Shakespeare will portray or will actually title his drama in someone's name who has such a negative aura surrounding him. Though Shylock in some aspect deserve our pity and sympathy, he is definitely a person who is negatively tainted or colored. We have seen he's suspicious, he's jealous, he's a religious fanatic, he's conservative, he is absolutely money-minded, he hates the Christians, and therefore it is unlikely that the title of the play would be on such a person with so much of negative traits. Herein it is very, very clear that the Merchant of Venice over here is none other than Antonio. Though there are some negative aspects of Antonio's character, perhaps his unwarranted sorrow, sometimes his excessive hatred for the Jews, but overall, if you look into Antonio's character, he is an affectionate man, he is a kind man, he is a caring man. He loves his friends, he cares for Bassanio. And as Bassanio says, there is no other man who draws breath in Venice, who shows the courtesies of friendship and loyalty and sincerity as Antonio. So I think at the end of the drama, it will be quite safe to infer that it is Antonio who is the merchant of Venice. I had requested you to send me forth names of stories or poems that you would like to revise. In this context, let me draw your attention to two boys who have given me two names. One is a horse and two goats, and the other is the blue bead. Now, since I have done the blue bead this year, I intend on starting with the horse and two goats. If there are other stories or poems or even Merchant of Venice that you would like to go through and revise, please communicate it to me while you are submitting your assignments. I will try my best to go through these. So that will be it. We have finished the English syllabus. I intend to start with the horse and two goats. Thank you so much. Stay indoors, stay safe, stay happy. Thank you once again.